Hey everyone, it's Josh, J Vintage Honda Minis, Orlando, Florida. We're going to look at a 1972 and up style fork leg where they went to a hydraulic fork setup with oil in it. The previous years before that were just a spring and a steel leg, no oil. But you'll tend to get some leaky seals over time for the fork legs, so we're going to go ahead and tear this down and get them replaced. I'll show you the tools and the methods I use to get it taken off, repaired, and then reassembled. So let's go ahead and get at it. So the first step we'll want to do is just kind of get your cables released from their brake, the brake arm cable, the speedometer cable. So I just go ahead and get those disconnected. You're gonna most likely have a castle nut here. Get your cotter pin pulled off, and then we'll get our axle and wheel taken away from the front end so we can start focusing on the fork legs. So I'll just use a 19 millimeter here. I use an impact gun. Hopefully it makes it easy to back off that castle nut, and then we'll just give it some taps to push out the axle. So the next stage, we've got the wheel off. You might as well go ahead and use these. These are 10 millimeter bolts here at the bottom of the fork leg. These are the drain holes for the fork leg oil. So go ahead and just open these up, catch it in a container, dispose of it appropriately, but you can drain your fork legs as much oil out as possible before we do a disassembly. You're going to want to pump your fork leg. Just give it some, compress it, and then you'll get your oil to come out under the hydraulic pressure. Use a 19 millimeter bolt on these top fork leg, 19 millimeter socket on the fork leg bolt, and then I use a 1 1/8 inch socket here on this chrome main top bridge bolt. Okay, and we'll be able to just take off this whole assembly to start dropping out the legs. These two bolts off these fork ears that hold on the headlight bucket, 12 millimeter. Just be careful of your paint job and your body here, because things will start to slide. So I got a soft towel in place. Alright, now we can get these fork ears up and off. And you can see the main tubes that run inside. These are just beauty cap parts. There's a stanchion that runs up that we fill up with the oil from the top. So I'll show you right there. Those are going to be 14 millimeter bolts. We're going to go ahead and pop that one out, and it should open up the clamp a little bit, and then we're going to see how much corrosion, or sometimes they'll just come right out, other times it could be quite a battle to get this top stanchion to slide out from that lower triple tree mount. So we shall find out if this is an easy one or a difficult one. The thing to take a note is these chrome beauty caps. These can either make or break the job, essentially. These need to come off and slide up. They should. First, the owner brought me the bike, and this was the first thing I looked at when he told me I needed to do a seal replacement job, was if these were able to move around freely, because a lot of times they get seized on and corroded on, and it's really a challenge to get them to break loose without doing damage. There's a couple tips and tricks, but they don't always work. So if you're going to attempt the job, I would just at least prepare yourself to know if these caps are free moving or if they're seized on. That will determine kind of your difficulty to do the job. And if you do have to knock these off and you damage them, they're probably pretty pricey to find a used pair on eBay or somewhere. It's not a part that you can just go and buy anymore. So just letting you know, that's kind of one of the first things I look at when I'm considering the job. We should be able to get these forks to drop out. Let's see if they... Some of the, like I use PB Blaster for my spray to go in there and help break down some of that rust and corrosion that's holding everything together. You don't have to use my technique, but I'm going to use this as kind of a sacrificial hitting surface. These old pitted chrome bolts that came on the fork, thread them all the way down so they're sat into the threading and they aren't going to be able to move under impact. I'm going to use pretty lightweight hammer, put my towel over the top of that bolt for a little cushion, and I'm just going to give it some good hits. And as you can see, we're knocking it down. At this point I got to take this bolt out, but we've got it to move, so get it all the way out. I'm just going to leave these on, but these have, just FYI, if you do happen to take these off, these have to go on before you put your fork leg back in. They got these slits here. You've got to put it over the lower triple tree and then you slide in your fork through it. So we can focus on breaking these down, getting to the seals, cleaning, and then rebuilding. Again, if these aren't able to slide up and easily off like that, one suggestion is, use of some heat from a torch to get in here and heat this metal up. Maybe something like a PB Blaster or some solvent that can help clean up a lot of the grit that gets up in here and like mechanically seizes those parts. This is a pipe hanger that you can get over at Lowe's or Home Depot. I think this is a 1-inch size. This is another little tool or trick you might be able to use, is you get this pipe hanger and you put it at the base of this chrome part and clamp it down so that it's still able to move freely, but enough of the lip here can catch this, or enough of this clamp can catch the lip of this chrome cap, and then you're going to take a hammer and hit the pipe hanger to hopefully budge this and knock it up and loose. Alright, that's about the best I can give you advice wise. Doesn't always work, but it's a little tool you can have in your tool bag that may be successful for you. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get these springs. Notice that the tighter coil windings face down towards the leg. All the tight coils go downward. Take your beauty cap off. And then there is going to be a clip in here that we need to get out of here, a circlip. So get your circlip pliers, inner circlip pliers, and we're going to go ahead and just get this circlip out of here.